So I want to start looking at this relationship show called Pop the Balloon Challenge. It's a very popular show that's been on YouTube. And what I want to do is I want to take a look at some of the contestants. And I also want to start reviewing the dates that they're going on and kind of what we notice about the people prior to the date, what we notice from what they talk about after the date, and just what are some of my thoughts on could their relationship work, a little bit about their personality, just some of the things that you see in those initial interactions. All right, so we're going to look at episode 15 and the first contestant of the Pop the Balloon Challenge. So here we go.
You see why you ended up popping. You guys ready? Yes. Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring out our first single guy. Welcome in. I'll have you hold this.
How you doing, Alette?
Good, good. How are you? Can we get your name?
My name is Brian.
Brian, how old are you?
I'm 40.
40
I'll be 41 in September.
Okay, it's coming up.
All right, so we got a good start. Articulate. Gives a little bit of additional information. Didn't just say Brian. He add a little bit onto it, so it's a good start. Seems like a good guy.
And Brian, what do you do?
I'm an aircraft mechanic
Very
for a major airline.
All right.
So
now,
I fix planes. I want you to get home safe.
Okay. What he reminds me of? He reminds me a little bit of the sketch on Key and Peele with the old head that's always like trying to lecture people. He reminds me of him, and also that old head that like tries to be smooth. So I like that he adds the additional context to the things that he's saying, but it sounds like that kind of I need to be smooth at the same time. Yeah, I'm an aircraft mechanic. Threw in major airline, and then I got to make sure you guys get home safe. It's a bit much, but that's cool. All right, so let's see what else. We got with him.
we appreciate you. And now, what are some things that you like to do for fun?
Things I like to do for fun. I like trail riding. I live in Houston.
Okay.
I'm from New Orleans, but I like to ride horses. I'm a country guy. Okay. I'm still city, but I like to do country things. I like to read. I'm from the ghetto, but I am a nerd. Okay. I like to read.
Now I have a little bit of a problem with that. To me, that's a kind of a cliche thing. Like a lot of people like to say they're from the ghetto. It's like that distinguished thug type of thing. Like I got the rough side to me, but I'm also the intellectual. I come from the ghetto, but I'm a nerd. So I'm into books. I'm into long walks on the beach, things like that. Like I don't think when you're looking for a relationship, I don't think where you're from in terms of being from the hood, being from the ghetto, whatever it might be, that's not as important. But people tend to wear it as a badge of honor, is what I'm trying to say. So, that part I really don't like. But let's go.
I want to know about things that I don't know. Okay. I like to go lounges, right? I like to go to museums. I just like to really have a good time.
Okay.
Gotta pop.
Now, what are some things that you're looking for in a woman?
Transparency, for sure. Transparency.
Okay.
If I can't see who you are when I meet you, then I would never know, right? Loyalty, that really, for men, that's a big thing, loyalty. I need to know when you out partying, having a good time, that you loyalty and you faithful to a man like me.
Okay. Now.
So not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. Transparency. A lot of people look for transparency, loyalty. Yeah, but in the context that he gave is if you're out in the club partying, I want to know that, you're not going to go off and do something that you ain't got no business doing. Nothing wrong with that. Only thing what I did hear inside of that is how he ended it when he said, a man like me. So that makes me start to think about how does he view himself, because there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. So let's see what else he gets into with it.
What are some of your deal breakers?
Deal breakers? I really don't have deal breakers, right? Because I'm from the ghetto, so I understand that, you know.
So this is apparently going to be a thing. This is the second time that he's repeated, "I'm from the ghetto." So that kind of tells me he's wearing it as a badge of honor. So it's supposed to imply certain things about him. So normally when somebody says they're from the hood, they're from the ghetto, that means they're rough around the edges, that they had to scrap for everything that they got growing up. They had to pull themselves out of the mud, those types of things, which tend to be attractive to people because it shows ambition, it shows resilience, it shows perseverance. But if you're putting that as a badge of honor, and your name tag says Brian, and under it says from the ghetto, like it's not serving the purpose of impressing anybody or telling anyone about you. So that's number 2.
We do a lot of things in our past and in our youth that is really a problem. So I don't really have any deal breakers. But as far as deal breakers, I don't really have any.
Okay.
He does have a deal breaker. I think it does sound. I'm thinking that he thinks that it sounds good saying that you don't have a deal breaker, because it's almost like saying, I don't care as much about looks. I don't care as much about what you've done in the past. I like to start people off with a clean slate type of thing, if that's what he means by that. If that's what he's talking about, I can completely understand that. But he probably should have had something that I automatically exclude people that do this type of thing or engage in this type of thing or look this type of way. Everybody has something, and that's okay.
All right, so we did get a few pop balloons.
Okay.
Let's go on over to those ladies, see why they ended up popping.
No problem.
All right, let's start right on over here. If we can have your name and age.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Parker, but I go by Mrs.
Okay.
I'm 39, and
You said you're 39?
39.
All right.
And Mrs. Parker, what do you do?
I'm a professional makeup artist.
A makeup artist?
Yeah, shout out to Makeup by Mrs. Parker.
Small thing. I'm probably going to be nitpicking a little bit inside of this, but he's I think he's nervous. And the reason I'm saying that is because he's initially repeating things that he's clearly heard. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine too. Like when you clearly say a sentence to someone and ask them something, and 1000% that they heard what you said, but they repeat it back to you anyway, that could be a sign that he's nervous and he wants to get the information right, or that he wants to give the impression that he's listening and that he's a curious person, and he's just doesn't know what to say. So we'll see if that becomes a thing going on.
All right, and Mrs., why did you end up popping your balloon?
I popped your balloon because you said you don't have any deal breakers, and everybody has to have some type of deal breaker, so you have to have something that you don't like. But you look really nice. You look dapper. Nice to meet you.
It's definitely nice to meet you. When it comes to deal breakers, I'm not a surface level dating type of guy, right?
Okay.
I don't really care about your past. I'm from the ghetto. I'm from New Orleans, right?
Oh my gosh. So yeah. Now, this is the third time now I'm from the ghetto. So apparently it means something to him. So since it's so important, then you need to give context to what that mean. What does that mean for you, since you are clearly from the ghetto? What does that mean for you? Because you would have been much better served explaining what that means to him and how that has shaped the person that he is, so that the contestants can have an understanding of how his upbringing shaped his thoughts and beliefs. But you keep saying it as though this is something that we should be so impressed about. So for somebody that just came on and gave the impression that he speaks well and he is very descriptive in what he says, he's not being descriptive in what he says. So that's the third time he said it. Let's keep going.
Okay. So nothing that you've done in your past It doesn't matter to me because that was before me. After me, that's when you upgrade yourself. So that's why I said I don't have any deal breakers because
So this is where I mentioned before about talking, starting to take a look at where arrogance and confidence kind of meet and where we kind of cross that line. We started off good. It's a clean slate, once we get together or, when we're first getting to know each other. But then after you're with me, you upgrade yourself. So you are the upgrade? Like, are you the prize and she's just so lucky to be with you that she's at a new level now? That's what that kind of sounded like. I'm hoping that he's just very bad at describing, how he looks at himself or, what he thinks about, relationships. But let's continue on to see.
because I don't want to say that, hey, you're not my type because of what you've done in your past, not knowing that that wasn't right or wrong. Okay, so that's why.
Respect.
And now, is Mr. someone that is your type?
She definitely, she got this cowgirl going on. I'm from the South, right? So I like your outfit. I like what you got going on.
See, that I'm from the South. What does that mean? What is it like being from the South? Be descriptive.
Definitely.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to our next lady over here. If we can have your name and age.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and I'm 37. I'm from New Orleans as well, and I live in the DMV. And the reason why I popped my balloon is because I am from New Orleans, and just the energy just wasn't vibing with. Like, I think you're super cool. I love the way that you look. But as far as like energy, I feel like I've dated guys from New Orleans before, and it just did not work out for me. So I think because we come from the same place, it just clashes.
That's her problem. She's apparently applying bias to him because she's from a certain area and her past relationships with the type of people that she chose didn't work out well. Therefore, since you are from this place, it's not going to work out well. That's her own bias. That don't have anything to do with him. He's not at fault for that. What she should have explained a little bit more though is she said, "I'm not feeling the energy." What does that mean? Like, give some specifics on what you weren't feeling from him. You have to be able to be descriptive and like, okay, is it the way that you're moving? Is it how you're completing your sentences? Like, what are you saying? I don't like your energy is a very ambiguous thing. So she actually should have clarified some of that.
Okay, so since we come from the same place, it clashes.
Yeah. I just haven't had really good relationship experiences dating people from my hometown.
You never met Brian. But today.
So we've crossed that threshold from confidence to now we sound like arrogance. You never met Brian. One thing you listen for, if a person starts talking in the third person, that's a good indicator that we're starting to cross over into a more of an arrogant mindset or an arrogant personality trait. He's already sounding like he's heading in that direction just by referring to himself this way. But let's see how he finishes his thought.
Yeah, you did. You know what I mean? And today, definitely, you was a winner. But, the fact that you're from New Orleans, I respect that because I respect my home and I'm prideful on being a Louisianian, right? And I definitely was feeling you. But,
thank you. Like
since you
you're
popped
very
on me,
handsome.
we don't really deal with rejection too well. We respect that, but we move on.
And then
Nice to meet you.
Tracy, we actually didn't get, what do you...
He's got this kind of control thing about him. It's like it's almost like he's got to control the conversation in some ways. He's doing a good job of responding after the fact. After they give feedback to him, he's responding to it, but it's almost like he's talking as if he has to maintain a sense of authority or a sense of power inside of it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I think if you're going to meet new people, a sense of balance could be helpful. So, showing a little bit of authority or confidence and control, but mix that with a little bit of curiosity. Things start to just come in well-rounded, because when you're going into these shows, you're trying to gather as much data as you can quickly. You're trying to learn about these people as quick as you can. So you want to be able to put your best foot forward in terms of how you dress and how you speak, but also how you speak about yourself and what you're looking for, so that you can be as descriptive as possible, so that they can make the most informed decision on whether this lines up with what they're looking for. He's just not doing very well with, he makes himself sound confident, but he also makes himself sound arrogant.
So I work in management. So the person that I kind of link with, we can kind of go into further of my career. Yeah.
What industry? What management? What industry?
I wouldn't like to say. Yeah, I would like to.
So that's showing a little bit of curiosity, but can you hear how it's not coming off as him just being curious? It comes off as he's interrogating, he's questioning her in order to be able to respond. He's not questioning her to learn more about her. He's questioning to have his comeback or whatever response he's going to have. That's what it almost sounds like. And it might not be his intention at all, but just how quickly he's going back and responding and kind of the tone that he's doing it in almost sounds like he's just coming off to to respond. So that could be why she responded that way, why she didn't feel comfortable saying exactly what, because that is kind of a personal thing too. You don't want to ask such a direct question. You could have just said, something like, what field are you in, or like, what type of work. You not exactly what airline do you work at, what's your shift, are you 9 to 5, or stuff like that.
Discuss that with the person that I match with. I think that's a little more in depth.
Okay. You're looking good today. I love the orange. Definitely.
Let's go to our next lady here. We can have your name and age.
My name is
You know
Chanel
what?
Kent,
I do think
originally
I do think that he is actually nervous. I think he is nervous because one thing I'm noticing is he's got this thing going on with his hand. If you notice his hand's really fidgeting. And that could be a sign that he's nervous. And if he's really nervous in this situation, that could explain why he's talking the way that he is in some ways. So because I'm anxious, I'm listening to what this person says, but I'm not actually listening to be curious. I'm listening quickly so that way I can have a quick response. And because he has a quick response, he's not answering things the way he really wants to answer them. He's just wanting to make sure that he sounds intelligent or sounds confident. And so it's almost like he's wearing a mask of how he's trying to present himself. The person that he came up initially and tried to present himself as, that might not actually be him.
From Gary, Indiana. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona. Coco Stiletto on Instagram. I have my own business. I'm a business consultant, and I also create trivia games that I sell on Amazon.
Okay, and I'm sorry, we didn't get your age.
I am 42. And the reason why I popped my balloon is pretty much, and you already answered, you didn't have any deal breakers. I need someone that knows what he wants. I can be a handful sometimes as well. So, and it can be anything. So it's got to be something that makes you tick, that you can be honest about. So that's why I popped my balloon.
So she is, that's kind of a red flag statement for her. It's one thing to be a handful sometimes. Like for her to say that and have the awareness that she is a handful is a problem. Some people, they unconsciously just don't realize that they're a lot. And when you bring it to their attention, they work on toning it down. But for you to know for yourself, after being reflective, yes, I'm a handful, and you haven't corrected that yourself, then it kind of lends itself to, I'm a handful and I'm okay with it, and you're going to have to deal with it. So, it might have been a good thing that he didn't match with her.
And you kind of remind me of my nephew, just kind of.
And that was an insult. I mean, you remind me of, you remind he reminds you of somebody smaller than you, someone that you have authority and control over. Like that's just not something that you want to say to a grown man. Like that's really condescending. So let's see how he actually responds to that.
Can I remind you of my nephew? Okay. So you said the deal breakers would be because I don't have a deal breaker?
Correct.
Okay, well, I could have a clean...
I need a man to tell me something. Tell me what he want and don't want.
And
if you
that
can't
will,
tell me that,
and
I
that,
might jump all over you.
And that will come, definitely. I will definitely tell you where you're going wrong at. But as far as a deal breaker, I have a clean slate with everybody. I'm the type to trust you before I not trust you.
That's not bad, but you don't have any deal breakers. That's problematic inside of a relationship. You say you don't have any deal breakers, so you're coming in with a clean slate. Nothing has to be wrong with you. But then at the same time, we're just going to be going through this relationship, and I'll just tell you every time you've done something wrong or something that displeases me. So if you don't have a good foundation of these are the things that I don't like, then the person really just has to walk on eggshells when they're with you. And it's like, okay, am I making a mistake here? Does he like this? Does he not like this? So it doesn't necessarily have to be deal breakers. It could be pet peeves or whatever you want to call it. He should have had some things that he could say, I don't like inside of a person. So she didn't have to guess.
I'm going to give you that grace before I don't give you that grace, right? But I respect how you feel.
I like that response. Might circle back, but
You might go get back?
might.
You want your balloon back?
Do you want that balloon back?
It's that smooth talk that's getting me. It's that repeating phrases back to people. It's just, okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
You got to get the gab I see, so we're just gonna.
I got the gift of gab.
Let's go on
It's
to our
transparency,
next ladies.
love.
How many times he gonna repeat himself?
Okay, if we can start off with your name and age.
Hi, I'm Janae. I'm 34.
Hello, Janae.
Janae, what do you do?
I'm in school for fashion design. I'm an office assistant, and I'm a new entrepreneur. Just about to launch my fitness clothing line called WeFit.
Okay, and why did you end up popping your balloon for Brian?
Hey, Brian. I love the way you speak, but for me, it was the pants. I don't like the pants too tight. I'm kind of ghetto, too, so I like them a little loose, and that was just it for me.
Yeah, that response is kind of she's doing it based on first impressions. I get it. She just didn't like the clothes that he was wearing. No problem with that. He shouldn't. Let's see what his response is, though. If he takes it constructively, or if he has a problem with it.
How old are you?
34.
34? How many kids you got?
I got 3.
You got 3?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have 3.
You got 3 baby daddies. Okay.
I should have said 0, because it's just me.
You gonna lie to the public?
No, I have.
He could have asked her that in a different way, because even just saying the word baby daddies, it kind of gives this negative connotation to it. But to me, it sounds like he's trying to reestablish himself as like a high value man type of thing, and like she's not worth my time. But let's see where he goes with it.
3, but it's just me. I'm a single parent. There's no man in my life.
No man in your life?
Nope.
Why is the
my
reason
boys.
for there no man in your life?
Well, my first child, his father passed away, and the other 2 are nowhere to be found. So, what can you do?
They do you like that? What's wrong with them?
Something. Only God knows.
Or is there something wrong with you?
Possibly, but I think I'm just fine.
Yeah, he's very forward. I think that's a better way to kind of put it. He's a very forward type of person. He doesn't seem to have like a filter. He says things, he has questions he wants to know about, but the way he presents them, he makes them sound a little bit worse than I think how he wanted it to sound.
I think you're just fine as well.
Thank you.
Right. But to say that a 41-year-old man is disqualified because of his pants,
You're 41?
I'll be 41 in September.
Okay, because I was like, I thought you said 40.
I'll be 41 in September. That's coming up.
I like it. It's okay for you. It's not my style. With everything going on, I like the pants to be a little baggy, that's all.
Where you from, love?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. How long you been out here?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Let's go
Oh,
on
he
over here.
doing the yeah, this is he is trying to make himself look extra cool. He's doing the LL lick your lips type stuff and calling her love and all that stuff. It's a little, I mean, it's a little cheesy. Just be if that's your authentic self, then okay, but it's a bit much. It's like you're trying to seduce people as you're learning about them.
Here, if we can have your name and age.
I am Venusian, 39.
And you said Venusian? And what do you do?
I'm a TikTok creator manager.
Cool. And why did you end up popping your balloon?
I'm a free-spirited woman, so having to check in with somebody like they are my parent is something that I don't subscribe to. So that's why I pop my balloon.
What do you mean check in like they're your parent?
The way that you were discussing how somebody needs to constantly, when we're out and about, to text or call and check in, that's something that I don't subscribe to. So that's why.
I actually don't remember him saying anything like that. I think he said when he first talked about what he was looking for, he said transparency and loyalty. And he wanted to know that when she goes out to party or clubbing or whatever that might be, that she's going to be loyal. I don't remember him saying, I could be wrong, I don't remember him saying anything about you have to constantly call and check in. So that's a little bit of her stuff right there. He didn't say anything like that.
I pop my balloon.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm a TikTok creator manager.
TikTok.
Yeah, so that lends itself to I think he's nervous. He's nervous as he's trying to present himself as cool, because she literally just said what she does and he's asking again. So that does still lends itself to he's asking questions so that he can hurry up and give a response. So that's not working well for him.
Creative manager for what company, or is it for yourself?
You see how his questions are so forward, and it's probably going to come off to them as being really aggressive, but his questions are just he just frames his questions so poorly. Asking what company you work for, you're asking personal questions. When you go on a date and you start to really, like each other or feel each other, then you start getting into like the minutia, like the nuances, where you work, how long you work there, things like that. But he's just really forward.
It's for TikTok.
For TikTok?
Social media.
Okay, social media?
Social media agent, yes.
Okay, how many kids you have?
I have 2.
How many baby daddies?
2.
2? Okay. So you didn't think after the first one that you wanted to marry the next one?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, so now, that he's asking questions so that he can respond. Now it's heading into that I'm interrogating you type of thing. I'm trying to establish myself as, superior, or, look at you, you've got these baby daddies, you didn't learn your lesson from after the first one. I think he's starting to get his feelings hurt a little bit. So now he's starting to kind of retaliate because he's got a lot of balloons popped. People are not feeling them. So now it's time to start going on the offensive to paint myself as you're not worthy of me. Hopefully he doesn't go, all the way down that route. He did say earlier that he's prideful. So it looks like the pride is playing itself out.
I was just asking because for real men, that's what matters. Mm-hmm. Your first one is given. Your second one, the mistake is on you.
Oh, is it? Well, there's
that's definitely right.
Under why I got
That's
pregnant,
definitely right.
Yeah, establishing himself as superior. First one is given, second one is on you. There's a bunch of different contexts for why women have meant multiple fathers, and one of the young ladies actually just talked about one of the her children's fathers passing away. So there's different contexts for things. You learn a little bit more about her and learn about why there are multiple fathers. What was it about them in those relationships that didn't work out for her? learn those types of things on the date. Don't make you're making it's interesting. He's jumping to conclusions and making assumptions when the first thing that he said was that with him, everybody's on a clean slate, that he doesn't look at any of the things in their past, and that when they get with him, it's just level up. But he's not now. I think because his feelings are starting to get involved, his true thoughts are actually starting to come out, and that's not the way that he actually functions.
That's nor here or there, and that's not what I'm here for.
Okay, definitely. You're a beautiful woman, though.
Thank you.
But I respect your answer.
Thank you. Let's go back here. Okay, if we can start off with your name and age.
I'm Shay, and I'm 37.
How you doing, Shay?
I'm doing amazing.
Shay, what do you do?
So I work for the county, and I have my own hair business and a few other little small businesses.
Okay. All right. And why did you end up popping your balloon?
So originally I was feeling it. I like I don't want to say a bad boy, but I like somebody that's outspoken. But the question of, I feel like you're challenging the women. Oh, how many baby daddies you got? And then, it just, does that matter? You say future, so that's their past. It's not their future. How many kids do you have?
I have one daughter. She's 19.
Do you want more?
I do.
So awkward silence.
My balloon still pop because I don't want any more.
Okay.
You don't want any more?
Not at all.
You can't have any more. You choose not to have
any more.
You see how he's asking a legitimate question, but framing it in such a forward way. It's like a lack of self-awareness. Like, you can't have any more. If she couldn't have any more, that could be for a myriad of reasons too. It could be a health issue. It could be that, she got a procedure done, but not for that time. That's not a question for that time. I'm feeling bad for this guy.
I have a almost 14-year-old.
Okay, yeah. Well, the reason for me asking their past about the baby daddies, because it lets me know where they're going in their future. If you didn't want to have a baby daddy for the second time, then that lets me know that you was uncareful of what you're dealing with.
Do you necessarily believe that somebody's past is their past that don't determine their future?
I
can look at you and say like people make mistakes. And it could happen. I feel like once or twice, okay, some things become a choice, but your past doesn't determine.
When it comes to once is a mistake. Twice, that's on you.
Okay, so
this is who he truly is. Now he's showing what he really, what he really thinks. And so this is what he should have said was his deal breaker initially. He should have said two baby dads is my deal breaker because I look at it as one time. It's on them, or it's just a situation 2 times. Now it's on you. That should have been his deal breaker, but he framed it as you come into this and it's a clean slate and I just upgrade you. And that's clearly, now that feelings are involved, now that he's a little bit upset, now what he truly thinks is coming out.
And say like you get into a relationship with somebody, you get married and things don't work. So then I guess you made a mistake. And then so once is mistaken and twice
that's another. You see the hands fidget, and I really do think this poor guy is really anxious. He's like a combination of anxious, upset. His pride is hurt, and so now he's just responding based off of that hurt.
I don't believe in that because I believe things happen.
Sweetheart, twice is on you.
Okay,
you should have learned from that very first mistake. Okay,
lessons are
and
to
not
be learned.
saying that your child is a mistake, right?
Of course
but the
not.
fact that you chose the wrong man to have kids with, and secondly, not to have a marriage after the next one or before
marriage
the next
doesn't
one.
determine, and I'm a person that wants to be married, but marriage don't determine anything. I done known people to be married for a long time and it don't work out, baby. So yeah, you are honey bun.
Okay.
You're too aggressive now.
No problem. The aggressiveness that comes from a Southern man, right?
Baby, let me explain
and we
something to
stand
you.
on what we talking
My roots
about.
come from Texas, so
Okay, so finally got a little bit of a description on what being from the South means for him. It means that you're aggressive. So, okay, thank you for that. But it's not painting him in the best light in this scenario, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm from New Orleans.
okay, so
You know what I
the
mean?
South,
So
the
when
battles
you-
of the South.
All right,
like I
Brian.
said again.
Brian, let's move on. Let's
Okay,
move on. Let's
no
move on.
problem. Have a good day, love.
If we can have your name and age.
Hi, my name is Shay, and I'm 37.
And Shay, what do you
Hello,
do?
Shay.
I am an insurance adjuster, and I'm just waiting to take my real estate license.
Very Nice. And why did you end up popping your balloon?
Just based off of the energy. I didn't want to pop it too soon. I like to feel you out first, but just based off of the energy and the conversations that were had between the women, and just overall, that's it.
Okay. So you a follower?
No, I went out. That's why I said I didn't pop it.
Yeah, this is pure. At this point, it's no longer curiosity. This is pure talking out of pride. Now you're going with the attacks. Now you're a follower. Now you can't think for yourself. Things like that.
Right away, I wanted to see for myself.
So you didn't like my responses and the women that I responded to? You didn't like the responses?
Just the energy from it. Yeah.
The energy is too strong for you, huh?
Not necessarily too strong. I just didn't too much care for it.
That's understandable. I respect that, though.
Thank you.
He kind of tried to flip that on his head and reframe the aggressiveness as it's too much for you. I'm too much of a man for you. It's too strong for you. Yeah. It was a nice try.
Go on over here. If we can have your name and age.
Davinia, and I'm 41.
And Davinia, what do you do?
I'm a compliance analyst for a payment processing company.
Okay. And why did you end up popping your balloon?
I popped my balloon. I was waiting because I was trying to feel the energy, the vibe, the connection, chemistry. And I believe he was speaking very well, very suave, handsome gentleman. So I was trying to give it some time. But then it started to feel like an attack. And I didn't like or agree with the attack. So that was why I popped my balloon.
Okay. So you say it felt like an attack. Can you elaborate on that?
You don't judge people from their past, or you like to start off with a clean slate. I don't think that if a relationship works out for a woman and it happens to be her second baby daddy per se, I don't think that's her fault. So if she decides to stay and marry the man, like Brian says, then that means she's settling. And I don't agree with a woman having to settle just because the opinions of others thinking that, it's going to be her fault. It's her fault because it didn't work out. No. Because people, they start off with different personas, and then you slowly kind of learn who they really are. So if you decide to walk away because that situation isn't healthy for you, that doesn't mean that it's your fault that it didn't work out.
Okay. So there's 4 billion women on the planet. I'm a black American from Louisiana. I have the choice to have the pick of the litter. So why would I pick you if you have multiple baby daddies?
Well,
There we go. There we go. We got into we're in the red pill space now. Now here's the high value man. And everybody, they always spew out those same type of statistics. 4 billion women, why you? I'm the catch, I'm the prize, stuff like that. And so his feelings are obviously completely hurt now. And now he's got to end this whole thing with him being on top with everybody else just wasn't good enough for him.
Don't pick me.
Right.
Yeah.
And
you
I
have
understand
the choice.
that.
You have the choice. We all
I
have a choice.
I have the choice, but you're
Yeah.
judging me on the fact that I have the choice.
No, I'm not judging you. That just means that I'm not for you. If you're going to judge me because my second baby daddy didn't work out for me, then I'm not for you. So I'm not judging
And I
you and your
understand that.
opinion
How many
and
kids
your
you have?
preference. I have 3.
You have
25,
3?
18, and 12.
Okay, how many baby daddies?
2.
2. Okay, so it's no disrespect towards that, right? But I just want you to understand, when it comes to a man of top tier, right? We give you a few from one man. That's it. If you have multiple from a different man, that disqualifies yourself.
So it disqualifies a top tier woman from getting a top
That's
tier
exactly
man
right. Why?
if
Because
she
there's
has
billions
2.
of women on this planet.
So I'm still chalking this up to his feelings are just hurt. But if he's going to make a bold statement as he's a top tier man, at the very least, you can be descriptive as to what makes you a top tier man. So now if you want to be, direct in some of the things you're saying, okay, now why don't you talk about how much money you make with your major airline mechanic work? What type of house do you own? Like, what type of car do you drive? What is it about you that makes you top tier? So, I mean, these were things that he could have explained inside of at the beginning of the show. He could have laid out his accolades and everything about him and what's so top tier about his character and things like that, but he chose not to do that. It's like he walked in with this air of, you're trying to win me kind of thing, and it didn't work out for him in this case.
All right.
I respect your opinion.
Okay.
Okay, well, Brian, that is all the balloons popped.
No problem.
But we do thank you for coming on. Let's go ahead and give it up for him, ladies.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, yeah, I feel sorry for Brian. He tried. He seemed like he was anxious. He also did seem there was some traits of arrogance there. But that arrogance could just be an insecurity, and to be honest with you, because of the fact that he was there with being interviewed by a group of women, and he wasn't necessarily sure of what he wanted, or he couldn't be descriptive at that time of what he wanted, possibly because of the anxiety. He just didn't. He came in. It's like almost like he had to put on a mask when he first arrived. He had to put on the mask of, I'm the cool Southern, raised from the ghetto type of educated thug, and he framed himself as that in the beginning. And now the problem with framing yourself like that is you have to wear that persona the entire way through. And as he was going through and he was getting his pride hurt, that persona started falling apart. And so when it started falling apart, now he started resorting to some of the aggressiveness, some of the forward comments, some of the, now I'm the top tier man and you're missing out, stuff that happens when your pride is hurt. So, I hope he comes on again. Very interesting guy. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What did y'all see from him in his interactions? As therapists, we always look at the tone, posture, eye contact, the descriptions and what they say and how they say it. What do y'all look at? Tell me about it in the comments. All right. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care.